And as for my GI issues, a lot of y'all have been asking, you know, why don't I get another G tube? What about an NG tube? Hey y'all, we are in the early hours of Wednesday morning. It's just another rough night, but I'm finally starting to feel the symptoms of my gastroparesis ease up a bit. I'm hoping to get to sleep soon. I thought I would start the vlog to show y'all a little bit of what I deal with most nights, because right now this is part of my reality and I like to show y'all the ups and the downs. Show y'all honesty. It's tough. I'm so tired of dealing with this most nights. Right now I'm not feeling all that strong. But, you know, I've got Harlow here, my loyal dog, and just... I've pushed all the medicines I can push. I had the heating pad on my stomach, an ice pack on my neck, everything I could think of to help with nausea, everything I know that works for me, and it's still just relentless for hours, but hoping to get some sleep soon. Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Another rough night. You know, when I'm in the moment of dealing with all of those issues, it can be really difficult to stay strong and feel positive, but after the fact, I remind myself that I have survived 100% of my difficult moments thus far, and that helps. You know, it's really only a few bouts of actual vomiting for me, of vomiting of stomach acid, and then it just turns into dry heaving, which is where I'm like retching and basically still going through the motions of vomiting, but there's nothing left to come up. And that's actually more painful and exhausting for me because it's more violent, and the spasms in my stomach and abdomen are worse, but the dry heaving is less damaging to my esophagus and teeth because there's no acid to erode it. And pro tip from my dentist, if you're having problems with vomiting, don't brush your teeth or use mouthwash right after. You have to wait a few hours. What he told me to do right after is use a mixture of water and baking soda to help neutralize the acidity, and that's really helped to save my teeth. Anyways, I am just trying to recover from a very difficult night. I was able to go back to sleep and catch up on some sleep. I'm just feeling exhausted and nauseated, abdominal pain. Got the heating pad going and I'm doing the best I can. I just need a bit more time before I can really get up and be functional. Well, y'all, I slept for an hour more, rested up a bit, but then I needed to get myself out of bed, get ready, because I received a phone call and I have a last minute late afternoon doctor's appointment to get to. If y'all remember, I recently got a new primary care doctor because my original one relocated. And during our first appointment, he made the point that he wanted me to get more local support in the way of doctors. When we first moved here to Tampa Bay in 2016, I tried to establish with local doctors, but we live in a small town with not many medical resources, and I got the whole, you've reached my level of expertise, you're too complicated, and I was referred to a larger hospital system with more resources in a bigger city about an hour away. And that is where most of my specialists are, and I love my specialists, but they're not as accessible as I would like because I have driving restrictions. I can't drive for more than 20 minutes at a time,
so I have to find transportation to those appointments, and for other reasons too, it's just been a bit tricky to get to those specialists when I need to see them. So my primary care doctor wants me to establish with local physicians who don't necessarily have to be experts in my complex disorders, but they could offer more local and accessible support when I need it. And I could get myself to these appointments because they'd be within 15 to 20 minutes of my home, and they could even coordinate with my current specialists if they need extra help. He also mentioned if I were to be admitted to my local hospital for whatever reason, it would be way more beneficial to be established with the doctors so they already know me and they know how to help me if I'm in the hospital. Because the thing is, doctors have something called privileges about where they're allowed to practice. My current specialists, who are just over an hour away in that bigger hospital system, they can only practice in that hospital system where they have privileges. They can't just come down to my local hospital and start treating me if I'm admitted. So that's why he thinks establishing some local support will just be an all-around good thing for me, and I think he's made some good points. So I told him I don't need to replicate all of my specialists locally. What I really need is just a primary care, which would be him, a good local surgeon, which I already had, and then a GI and an allergist. The allergist I am set to see tomorrow, and the GI I was supposed to see in a few weeks, but they had a cancellation, which is why I'm going in last minute this afternoon to see her. My current medical team has made a detailed game plan for my gastroparesis and my GI symptoms, which have unfortunately just been so severe lately since I lost my G-tube and the ability to vent my stomach. And I'm interested to see if the local GI I'm seeing today has anything else to add in. I have given updates here and there on the game plan for my GI struggles, but I don't think I've been clear enough because a lot of y'all are still asking questions about it. So I do plan to give a detailed update on that game plan today, but I'm going to do so after my appointment because I do got to get going.
We made it. Getting out of the house was a little bit hectic. I tripped over my feet on the way out the door, which made me realize I forgot to put my AFOs on, which made me realize that I still had my pajamas on with my pink polka dot slippers and all. It's just one of those days. So I had to go change, and all is well. We are here. Got a little bit of the new doctor jitters, but I'm not all that nervous because my primary care referred me to this GI specifically. He thinks we'll be a good match for each other. Let's do this. You ready, Hippo? Ready to go make a good impression with your cute fluffiness? Where are ya? There you are. Made it back home. Judd is up. We've been watching trailers. Tell them your thing about trailers though, babe.
I only watch them once, well, that's it. So I just watched, well, I've already seen the Solo trailer, but I watched one more time, and I'm never going to see it again until the movie comes out.
Yeah, he doesn't like to spoil the movies by watching the trailers. Anyways, my GI appointment went well. She said I was definitely not her typical patient, but she was ready to help me as much as she can. And she's going to consult with my other specialist, and she was happy to give me as much local support as possible. And as for my GI issues, a lot of y'all have been asking, you know, why don't I get another G-tube? What about an NG tube, which is where we put a tube through my nose into my stomach for venting? And my team and I have talked about it. An NG tube is not an option for me because even when I do vent, I still have vomiting spells, and I'm just going to puke an NG tube up. And there have been some patients who can place an NG tube themselves and then remove it after they're done venting, but none of my doctors have ever done that with one of their patients, and they're not willing to start with me. I don't necessarily know why, because I do my own port care. I've been cleared to do my own J-tube changes, but I have to respect the wishes of my doctors. As for a G-tube, I'd have to go through another surgery to have it placed, and it's not as extensive as the J-tube surgery I had done in January by any means, but having a G-tube, I hated it and I loved it. The only reason I liked it is because I was able to vent, and it helped
so much with my symptoms. Y'all see how much I'm struggling now without the ability to vent, but with the J tube, I don't really notice it. With the G tube, now that I don't have it, I realized how much my body hated it. It was always bothering me and causing some type of pain. It never did well in my stomach. It was just uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to have 2 tubes. I don't want a G tube unless I really need it. So what they're trying to do is find medications and other options to help hold me over until I can try the medical marijuana. We really don't want to consider putting any other tube in me for venting until I give the medical marijuana a good try, because we're all so helpful. It'll help with my nausea and vomiting, as well as my pain and maybe some other symptoms. And I've been approved for medical marijuana use here in Florida. It's legal for certain disabilities. What I'm waiting for is to be put and registered in the state system as an approved user, and that can take some time. They say 30 days, but some people have had to wait months. I look online every day and I still see that big thing that says you may not obtain cannabis products yet. We're still waiting to add you. So that's where we're at. Just trying to hold me through until I can try the medical marijuana. So no G tubes, no NG tubes. I am trying very hard to avoid those and hold me over with other options like IV anti-nausea meds until I can try the medical marijuana. And I have no idea if the medical marijuana will help because I've never ever tried it before, but we are hopeful. And that's where we're at right now. Of course, if the medical marijuana doesn't work, then I'll consider getting another tube, but we'll have to wait and see. So I am all out of energy. It took all I had to get to the appointment today. So Judd is the one cooking for himself. Usually I prefer to cook for him because I love cooking. Don't forget the aluminum.
Tinfoil.
The tinfoil, whatever.
You're in America and you speak American.
Judd, that's just how my dad says it, so that's how I grew up saying it. Aluminium. What's the other thing I say funny? Oh, vitamins. It's just how my dad says it. But
And airplane.
I say airplane normally.
And it took you a while.
I say aeroplane. So I prepared the chicken yesterday though. All he has to do is put it on the tray and bake it. You got this, babe. It'd be pretty hard to screw up this dinner.
No, we had it before.
Yeah.
Now it's 2 pieces.
The chicken's marinated in mayo, parm, garlic powder, and seasoning salt overnight. And then you just bake it at 350 for like 20 minutes. And he's gonna boil up some broccoli. And Harlow and I are gonna be the cheerleaders.
This one's gonna have all the good stuff on it. Look at that.
You want to tell the people about how I was attacked by a bee today?
Yeah, so Jack moved like
The fastest I've moved in a year.
She was fighting gravity and losing. She was like, got out of the car, and I came outside to help, and she saw a bee, and she was like,
It was coming for me. It was coming for me, and that's
she was
it.
falling. Like, she was just like took 10 steps back, and then she was like,
Oh, I was freaking out. It was survival
around
mode.
the car.
It was survival mode. And if I get stung by a bee,
What was this?
it's an empty ice tray. I had no energy,
Oh my god.
and I was lazy. Harley, you were like Shamu with the ice cubes. Just
You just throw him at Orion, he doesn't catch it.
He's not good at catching like Harlow. But anyways, if I get stung by a bee, it's an EpiPen and trip to the hospital, like for sure. And I was terrified. I know, I was terrified. So I have moved the fastest I've moved in like a year. And then I almost fell over, and it was a horrific incident, but I escaped the bee. I outmaneuvered it. You're supposed to stay still, you know, if a bee is coming for you, but the fear took over.
So I gotta make all this broccoli.
Yeah, the broccoli's gonna go bad, so I instructed Judd to make all of it. Eat all the food, babe.
All the broccoli is my favorite.
I will live vicariously through you. Oh, is that sweet tea?
Yeah.
Oh, screw vicariously. I can have a sip of that.
Oh, you cannot? you like a sip, Hippo?
Give me a sip, Harlow. No, don't do that to her. Just got a broccoli mountain over there.
I like broccoli.
I can tell. Oh my gosh. Just got a delicious dinner. Great job, babe. How's it? Is your broccoli mountain?
Butter coming from my mouth.
That was incoherent.
I was having all the butter dripping down my mouth.
Yeah, he put a lot of butter on it. But it looks good. Smells good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, family's in bed. Happy to report that the changes made to IVIG have gone well thus far. I do have some of my IVIG body pains today, but totally tolerable. And the feeding tube my surgeon ordered for me to change out has to be brought in from Atlanta, Georgia. So it'll be here this weekend, as will the new IV anti-nausea med will be here this weekend. So it'll be an eventful weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to bed, and I'm hopeful for a better night. So far it's going better than last night, which is good. Did you enjoy your dinner, babe?
That was good.
Are you annoying Hippo?
Yes. She annoys us all the time.
Got the whole family on the bed. Well, we are going to sleep, so we'll say goodnight, and thanks for joining us on our adventure.